The stage ignites at Toronto's Rogers Centre, a pulsating mass of 50,000 fans erupting as Kendrick Lamar drops, Not Like Us, on June 13, 2025, a lyrical dagger aimed straight at Drake, the sixth god who built his empire on this very soil. It's the second night of Kendrick and SCA's Grand National Tour, a doubleheader that's drawn over 100,000 attendees across 2 days, equating to more than 3% of Toronto's 3 million residents based on 2022 figures. The crowd's roar is a tidal wave, chanting for encores, turning the stadium into a fortress of defiance against Drake's reign. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Yet, months earlier, a voice from the OVO faithful Mal, a podcast provocateur with a penchant for bold forecasts, declared Kendrick would be booed out of Canada, his Toronto stronghold crumbling under a deluge of Drake loyalists. As the echoes of Kendrick's triumph linger, Mal's prediction lies shattered, and the hip-hop world buzzes with the fallout. Let's peel back the layers of this seismic event, dissect Mal's miscalculation, and explore how Kendrick's conquest has redefined the Drake-Kendrick saga, all while the clock ticks towards 6 p.m. West Africa time on this Monday, June 16, 2025. The numbers set the stage. Toronto, a city of 3 million, is Drake's cultural heartbeat, where OVO's owl logo adorns every corner. Rogers Centre, with its 50,000-plus capacity, hosted Kendrick for 2 nights, June 12th and 13th, amassing 100,000 fans. That's 3.33% of the population, a figure that transforms a concert into a public verdict. Not Like Us, a diss track that paints Drake as an outsider, and Euphoria, a multifaceted attack, weren't just performed, they were celebrated, met with cheers so fervent they demanded a second run. Dave Free's Instagram stories captured the frenzy, crowd surging, lights flashing, a testament to Kendrick's command. The audio, raw and unfiltered, proves it was no AI mirage but real Torontonians, their energy a stark rebuttal to any boo brigade. This wasn't a fluke, it was a strategic siege, and the city responded with open arms. Mal's prophecy, however, came from a parallel reality. On a podcast with Rory, months before the tour's announcement, likely late 2024, he insisted Drake's chokehold on Toronto would unleash a storm of boos. He envisioned fans shelling out $400 to $500 for front-row seats to heckle Kendrick out of a Scotiabank Arena gig, a smaller venue where he'd be vulnerable. Mal argued Toronto's love for Drake was unassailable, predicting a unified front to ruin Kendrick's show, contrasting it with Drake's hypothetical LA support despite potential boos. Rory pushed back, noting Kendrick's decade-long Canadian fanbase, but Mal doubled down, picturing a hostile takeover. It was a bold swing, steeped in delusion, and one that hinged on Drake's invincibility, a narrative Kendrick's arrival would soon dismantle. The roots of Mal's stance trace back to his OVO allegiance. Known for systematic missteps in the Drake-Kendrick feud, pre-battle, during, and post, he's carved a niche as Drake's midnight confidant, allegedly FaceTiming the rapper to plot revenge. This "did I do good, boss?" dynamic fuels his wild takes, like claiming Kendrick couldn't sell an arena, let alone a stadium. His debate with DJ Head, Kendrick's DJ, months ago, exposed this bias. Head called him delusional, a label that stuck as Mal's predictions flopped. The Toronto Boo forecast, made before the Grand National Tour's itinerary dropped, reflected a perceived power imbalance, a last gasp of faith in Drake's dominion. Even with grace for pre-tour speculation, Mal's tunnel vision ignored Kendrick's global momentum, a misjudgment that aged poorly. The event itself was a masterclass. Clips reveal a spectacle of synergy, Kendrick and SCA's chemistry peaking, Night 2 outshining Night 1. Fans erupted as Kendrick teased, "Can we rock one more with y'all? Are you sure?" The response was a thunderclap of applause, lifting Not Like Us and Euphoria to new heights. The staging was cinematic, smoke swirling, beats hammering, yet Kendrick let the music carry the moment, unlike Drake's pre-hyped, back-to-back, Philly performance. Fans didn't just attend, they commandeered the narrative, chanting for a repeat of Not Like Us, a demand Kendrick met with poise. This was no boo fest, it was a coronation, with the crowd's love a direct slap to Mal's face. Outside, the OVO takeover flopped hilariously. A fan's Instagram post rallied Drake loyalists for a pre-show meetup outside Rogers Centre, planning to blast his music as a jab. Only 5 showed their solidarity, a whimper shut down by police over alleged trouble reports, likely a mercy killing. The host promised hoodies and giveaways, lamenting the spontaneous flop in an expired statement, but the effort was DOA. Academics, dubbed Big Mac a Snackademics for his Henny-soaked rants, spun it as Kendrick banning Drake's music, a narrative even OVO fans struggle to swallow. Other tales, like Kendrick fleeing with a police escort or arresting fans, crumbled under scrutiny, revealing a camp grasping at straws. Inside, the vibe was electric. TheRoot.com chronicled the madness. Fans lived for Not Like Us, asking for a second spin, a twist Mal never saw coming. Post-show, they flocked to New Ho King, the Chinese spot Kendrick name dropped in Euphoria, turning it into a dance party with the hella popular diss track. Patrons smiled as fans rapped along, a scene that cemented Kendrick's takeover. This wasn't the hostile reception Mal predicted, it was a love fest, with Toronto embracing Kendrick's narrative over Drake's. The fallout hit OVO hard. Academics was beside himself, decrying Toronto's betrayal after Drake's contributions. Mal, likely boycotting the city, saw his credibility erode further. OVO spun tales of $20 tickets, debunked by Ticketmaster's $200 to $300 range, ignoring Kendrick and SCA's $100 million from 9 shows, averaging $11 million nightly. Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter tour, pulling $55 million from 5 shows, faced similar flop claims, but data silenced the noise. Kendrick's 2025 Spotify stats, with Luther, Not Like Us, and TV Off in the top 10 despite no solo release, outpaced Drake's Nokia at 8, proving his pull. Mal's misstep mirrors a broader shift. I've long argued against Drake's hip-hop GOAT status. Clashing on my show a year before Like That ignited the feud. Fans fought to keep him in the top 10, but his ghostwriting ties and pop pivot eroded that case. Post-Toronto, his name's dropped from those debates. Top 15, 20, 25 lists reject him outright. He's a fan and pop star, not a rapper's rapper, a stance I've won, leaving his 2000s legacy in question. Kendrick's Toronto triumph, with its 3% turnout, seals that narrative shift. Drake's response has been silence, punctuated by petty moves. His lawsuit against Universal over Not Like Us violence claims, tied to a May 2024 mansion shooting, feels desperate, especially as he criticized Kendrick's police escort, a move he mirrored in Philly against Meek Mill. Clips show Drake's team locking gates, feds swarming, while Kendrick jogged Detroit's riverfront with a 3-year-old fan, Ryan, sans security, a contrast. Singh, ex-NDP leader ousted in 2025's election, attended the GNX show, prompting Drake's midnight jab. Singh's apology, I went for SZA, not Kendrick. OVO lifted this city, fed OVO's SZA spin, but his presence, unnoticed until Drake's post, highlights the 6 gods' pettiness. Drake's pattern, dissing Budden, Megan, Ice Spice, Serena's husband, Rihanna, now Singh, avoids Kendrick, a cowardice fans notice. Kendrick's Detroit ease and Toronto dominance contrast Drake's mansion paranoia. The cultural clash deepens. OVO fans cry no Canadian culture over Kendrick's disses, but he targets Drake's hip-hop commodification, not the nation. As a Canadian hip-hop lover, I see Drake's contributions. Take Care remains a classic, but Kendrick's critique of his formulaic drift resonates. Performing in Canada proves Kendrick's respect, not disdain. Drake's silence on Canada's $1.9 trillion debt or 8.1% inflation, versus his vocal feuds, shows his focus is ego, not country. Financially, Kendrick's tour dwarfs Drake's arena gigs. The $100 million from 9 shows, with more dates ahead, marks it among hip-hop's highest earners. Drake's narratives, bots, cheap tickets, collapse under data. His LA Family Matters flop risk looms large, while Kendrick's setlist balance with SZA left Toronto wanting more. Mal's Boo prediction, born of OVO bias, now haunts him as Kendrick's era dawns. What's next? Drake could drop bars, but his avoidance suggests fear. Fans crave a response, not Instagram shade. Kendrick's silence post-Toronto speaks volumes. He's won this round. Canada's split. Some hail Kendrick's art, others mourn Drake's fall, fuels the feud. As a hip-hop observer, I've seen battles, but this? It's a cultural earthquake. Can Drake reclaim his throne, or is Kendrick's reign unstoppable? The answer hangs in the Toronto air, thick with possibility. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.